Good evening and welcome to our Sustainable Transport today. I'm your host, Joel, and with me are four distinguished guests to discuss a groundbreaking study on renewable energy, technology and CO2 emissions in the transport sector. This is not just another academic topic. The transport accounts for nearly a quarter of global emissions. Every decision made in this industry shapes our climate future. Tonight, we will break down the research, debate its findings, answer your questions, and even add our policy meeting. Stay tuned. You are in for a powerful discussion. Welcome to our first guest, Sim Wai Kim. He is a reporter. And welcome to our second guest, Xiu Ting Ming. He is an environmental analyst. And welcome to our third guest, Han Jiawen. She is a policy analyst. And welcome to our last guest, Tan Jun Kai. He is a technological specialist.
Thank you, Joel. So this is the study that investigates on how renewable energy adoption and green technologies influence carbon dioxide emission across the EU. So here's our key findings. First, renewable energy adoption significantly reduces carbon emission. Second, GDP and carbon emission follow the environmental Kuznets curve. At higher income level, emission eventually decline. But a controversial finding suggests that a U-shaped effect on environmental technologies, meaning emission may rise again after initial improvement. So, to illustrate, countries like Germany and Denmark that adopted renewable energy saw a steady emission drop. Meanwhile, rapid adoption of certain new technologies in other countries sometimes lead to rebound effects, like higher energy consumption during production stage.
This is fascinating. It's not just about using new technology, but how it's implemented. So let's hear from our expert panel.
As an environmental economist, I strongly agree with the study conclusion that renewable energy reduces CO2 emission. We found a study by Wisalu and Choi. They confirm this. Every megawatt of wind and solar is installed has a measurable impact. Think of Norway, where electric vehicles already make up over 80% of new car sales. This shows how clean energy policies deliver a result.
This shows how clean energy policy deliver a result. Renewable energy reduce reliance on fossil fuel, can cutting the emission and lowering the risk from the oil and gas price volatility. Countries that invest in the renewable gain long-term stability, energy independence, and healthier environment. For example, Germany engineering-wise has expanded wind and solar. It can create a job and reduce the emission. Renewable also drive innovation such as a smart grid and battery storage, making them more reliable and competitive with fossil fuel. Cleaner air from the renewable improve the public health, reduce the healthier costs, and enhance the quality of life. Next, move on to the bar chart. This bar chart illustrates how clean the energy policy deliver a measurable outcome. In Norway, over 80% of new car sales are the electric vehicle. In Germany, the renewable also make up about 40% of electric generation. And the globally, wind and solar are growing at around 25%. Together, this example highlight that how renewable energy adoption is not only an environmental necessity, but also an economic and social opportunity for the future generation.
Yes, and this supports the environmental Kuznets curve. Only growth brings pollution, but once the economy is natural, it can afford a sustainable investment. The EU has proven this. Emissions are growing, even the GDP rise. Government also confirmed that clean energy in transport is a key to meeting the EU climate goals.
According to Reuters,
The battery electric vehicles now sold in Europe produce a stunning 73% less life cycle greenhouse gas emission compared to their gasoline counterparts. That means these electric cars are not only cleaner in operation, but it also significantly greener when you account for the entire life cycle, like from manufacturing to disposal. This leap in eco-performance isn't just about the vehicles, it's tied to how rapidly Europe's energy grid is becoming greener. The ICCT credits the fast deployment of renewable electricity across the continent and the superior energy efficiency of EVs for this impressive improvement. In short, now is the time to listen up. Electric cars are delivering massive climate wins, and the cleaner grid of tomorrow promises even more impact.
So far, the strong support for renewables, but let's challenge this with some opposing views.
I must disagree with the study claims of the U-shaped relationship between the green technology and emissions. Research by Netherwin and Rodriguez show the green technology consistently reduce CO2, suggesting otherwise could discourage much need innovations. However, the results of existing studies show that there is disagreement on the machines of the impact of green technological process on carbon emissions, and some studies, even Li, Wang, and Shen, suggest that green technological process leads to an increase in carbon emissions. Xin and Li found that in more economically developed provinces, carbon emissions increase as the level of green technological develops. This is due to the rebound effect. The experience of the world's major development countries show that in the process of economic growth, green technology has continues to process and carbon emissions have first increased and then decreased, showing an eventual U-shape. But Krushi highlighted that not all the green tech is effective. For instance, manufacturing batteries or electric car is highly energy intensive, sometimes they increasing the short-term emission. That is a fair point, but it's about regulation and life cycle management. Over time, these technologies still outperform fossil fuel systems. Look at China. Despite initial pollution from battery factories, EV growth has already reduced oil demand significantly.
This shows the complexity. The policymakers must avoid overhyping technology while still encouraging the innovation. The balance is delicate but necessary.
Clearly, this debate has layers. Let's traumatize this with a real-life policy negotiation.
Colleagues, we face a major decision. Should we prioritize renewable energy, invest heavily in new technologies, or attempt both? But our budget is limited, so we must be careful.
Minister, renewables are proven. Wind and solar costs are dropping, and every installation cut emission immediately. Germany's energy one shows how fast grid can adapt.
But not all is rosy. Some green tech has rebound effect, like hybrid car. For example, hybrid car might reduce a fuel use, but if people drive more because of it cheaper, total emission can rise.
As a taxpayer, I worry about wasteful spending. I don't want billion poured into experimental tech without guarantee result. Why not focus on solar, rooftop, and wind farms first?
Fair point. But if we ignore innovation, we risk falling behind globally. Look at Norway's EV success. Shouldn't we prepare for the future as well as the present?
We can do both, but with checks. For example, we can set emission targets for industries and only fund technologies that are proof to reduction over 5 years.
That is sensible. conditional support keeps industry accountable.
And transparency method. Citizens should see clear report how much CO2 is reducted per dollar spent.
Then it's decided we will push renewable aggressively and invest in new technology carefully with accountability checks. And then lastly is the report results transparently to the public.
For this discussion, our recommendations are: first is scale up the proven renewable rapidly. Second is monitor and evaluate the green technology closely. The third one is combine innovation with accountability. And the fourth is share progress report with citizens to build the trust. And lastly is the learn from the case study such as Norway, Germany, and China.
Excellent. Before we wrap up, let's hear from our audience.
What about developing countries? Can they afford renewable?
Great question. Many renewables are now cheaper than coal. With international financing, even developing nations can leapfrog into a clean energy.
Are the electric cars just stripping pollution from tailpipes to power plants?
That used to be true, but as green become cleaner, EVs get cleaner too. Studies show even in coal-heavy countries, EVs still reduce lifetime emissions.
How do you convince people to accept these changes?
Public campaigns, incentives, and visible success stories. When the people see cleaner air and lower bills, the acceptance will grow naturally.
To conclude, the renewable adoption is powerful. The green technology needs careful oversight and the public trust is essential. Together, this can build a sustainable future. So welcome again to our reporter. Thank you for tuning in to Sustainable Transport today. See you next time.
Bye bye.